recently read the great Graham Greene novel, The Power and the Glory, which is gives you a wonderful historical setting for the saint that we're talking about today, Miguel Pro. He was born in Mexico in 1891, and in 1921 he joined the Jesuits to become a priest. But in the 1920s, Mexico passed a series of laws suppressing the church, anti-clerical laws. They rewrote their constitution. So he and all of his Jesuit classmates had to walk to California from Mexico and go to the Jesuit novitiate in Los Gatos. And then he eventually went to Spain to study for the priesthood, and then he went back to Mexico. But there was a renewal of the anti-clerical laws, a greater suppression of the church. So his ministry had to go underground. Now, growing up as a young boy, he was a precocious child. He liked to do practical jokes. He was a trickster. And this actually served him well as a priest, because in order for him to do a baptism or a wedding, he would dress up as a beggar and go to the people's houses at night. And then once he got there, then he would put on his stole and do the sacraments. He would dress up as a policeman to go to a prison to bring communion to a dying prisoner. He would dress up in a gentleman's clothing and go to a wealthy neighborhood in order to pick up funds to support the poor. And so in Mexico City, he was kind of notorious as far as the government was concerned. And so when there was a failed assassination attempt against the former president of Mexico, they unjustly blamed Miguel Pro and his brothers. They hauled him to jail without a trial, sentenced Miguel Pro to death. He went to the firing squad, refused a blindfold, and he shouted out across the courtyard to the firing squad, "May God bless you. I forgive you for what you were doing." They opened fire, wounded him, did not kill him. The commanding officer of the firing squad walked over and with his pistol did the coup de grace and killed Miguel Pro, but not before Miguel Pro was able to yell, "Viva la Cristo Rey," which was really the slogan of the Cristeros movement, who were waging an insurrection against the Mexican government because of these anti-church laws. It's not a happy time in the history of Mexico. His picture, the president of Mexico, insisted that the assassination, the firing squad, be well documented, and pictures of Miguel Pro being shot, standing with his arms outstretched like Christ on the cross before he was shot. It was on the front page of the Mexican newspapers. The president of Mexico thought it would scare the revolutionaries, but in fact it emboldened them, and many of them carried that picture into battle. Today I remember a priest who has much greater courage than I have, but I know that he was a man of prayer, and that's where his courage came from. And so as we have to go through something that's difficult, but much less difficult than what he went through, this pandemic, we too turn to God to find our strength in difficult times.